I actually considered that when I'd gone on my trip to see my granddaughter for the first time. I'd gone to Australia and I was meandering in the garden with her. And my our neighbor, who's a teacher, came up to me and said, we were having a general conversation about life and everything else in between. I was getting to know the neighbors as well, and she said to me, "So what do you do?" I said, "I'm a composer," and she gave me that look, which I started to walk away, and then I came back and I said, "Why did you actually look at me like that?" And she said, "If you don't mind, I'll tell you, I couldn't have imagined that you would be a composer. And who do you work with? What kind of musicians do you work with?" I said, "I compose any music. So give me musicians, give me a brief, and I can compose a piece of music. I don't have any barriers. And I use my training. I'm a trained South Indian classical vocalist, but I use my training with the 7 notes like anybody else." And I said, "Why did you say that?" She said, "Well, my image of composers is like we were talking some time ago with this man with sheets of notes and perhaps conducting an orchestra." And I said, "Yes, but that isn't the reality in today's world. I'm a South Asian granny and I compose music, and I compose music for every genre. I do it for dance performances, I do it for theater, I do it for music performances, I make my own projects. So I'm immersed in music in a way that you wouldn't imagine." And but that opened my eyes, and I've been sort of speaking to people after that and asking people, "What do you think a composer looks like?" And I've had some interesting answers back, because many people, and even the younger generation, have this vision in their head of this composer person being formally dressed and standing in front of an orchestra, sometimes on the podium, trying to actually make this music happen. They don't think of music in silos. The opera is something that comes to mind, orchestras, philharmonia, that comes to mind, and then everything else in between is like, "Oh yeah, of course." But then the question is, there's music in games, there's music in ads, there's music in films, there's music everywhere that you see. So I mean, somebody is making that music, really.